King. Let me share with you my screen. It's sharing. There it is. Okay, we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 3rd chapter, text 42. Evam prashnam rishin purvam apracham piturantike nabruvan brahmana putras tatravkara namuchatam. Translation. Once in the past, in the presence of my father, Maharaj Ikshvaku, I placed a similar question before 4 sages who were sons of Lord Brahma, but they did not answer my question. Please explain the reason for this. Purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the words Brahmana Putra, the sons of Brahma, refer to the 4 Kumaras, headed by Shanaka Rishi. Srila Madhvacharya has quoted a verse from the Tantra Bhagavata, stating that the reason the 4 sons of Lord Brahma, although Mahajans and experts in the science of devotional service, declined to answer King Nini was that they wanted to demonstrate clearly that even those who are experts in the cultivation of speculative knowledge cannot understand the actual science of pure devotional service. Srila Jiva Goswami has further commented that the sages avoided answering the question from the king because at the time King Nini was a young boy and therefore not mature enough to understand the answer fully. Om Jnana-timirandasya Giranjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Palakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatambitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hi. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for having me here this morning and for coming to attend the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we have a very interesting verse, which is talking to us about King Nimi in the context of he just he's asking the question these questions to the Navayogendras, and explicitly he is now inquiring into all of that is Maya and how does she work and that, and he wants to now turn into another direction, which we will hear tomorrow. What the question was, which had to do with karma. He wanted to know about what is karma, what is akarma, and what is bikarma. That I will let tomorrow's speaker talk about this, but it's a very difficult matter because it has to do with what are those actions of which are we're supposed to do, we're not supposed to do, and that are not enjoined in the shastras directly. So it's a very difficult question, and if we look at the purport here, first of all, there's something very interesting. Just if you will. There's if you notice, it says that Madhvacharya quoted from the Tantra Bhagavata. I was like, what is that Tantra Bhagavata? And it is mentioned in a few different places in the Bhagavatam, not very many, just like two or three places where even where it is explained that again Madhvacharya is quoting from the Tantra Bhagavata. This is according to scholars, this is the oldest commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's by the Pancharatra school. So something interesting about that, the oldest commentary known, the Tantra Bhagavatam. Now, Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in this verse, they comment that the king, King Mimi, at that time was not mature enough to hear the answer. So a very interesting question comes up and is like, well, so what are the qualifications to hear an answer? It seems like the king was not mature enough. So from the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.13, Srila Prabhupada says that those qualifications are to be submissive, sincere, and eager to hear. Now, here's going to be something very important, and I'm going to dedicate the class to this, and is that what happens if we're not that? If we're not submissive, sincere, and eager to hear, we will filter that message. Or the speaker will withhold back. And that is what happened in this case. The speakers, the four Kumaras, they decided that this child will not truly be able to understand a deep explanation. So we'll just wait, and he will ask this in the future. Now, as an example of this, I was thinking that I have a friend. I have a friend, and she does some healing work. She's a Reiki practitioner, and previous to her healing work, she was more like an agnostic, an atheist, until some things happened in her life, and now that she has found this form of spirituality, um, she accepts a little bit more about things that are beyond beyond the body. But she was commenting that when she went she started getting into Buddhism, and she started learning about it. She started learning about Buddhism, and she liked it until she heard about how Lord Buddha, how he renounced everything. He left home, he left his family in search of spiritual enlightenment. She grew up in a household where the family nucleus was not very strong. She had difficulty with parents and all that. And so in her life, family became very important. And now she is very dedicated to her family, and being in a stable family is very important to her. When she heard that, she said, "That's it. I don't want to have anything to do with Buddhism." So, if I were to speak to her about Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas, leaving his mother, leaving his wife, in a situation where, at that time in Bengal, that meant leaving them in a situation where who knows how they will even survive. She would not be able to take that in either. So I would not speak that to her. I would not speak to her about renunciation or anything that has to do with that. So I will withhold. because she's not ready to hear about that. So here's a very important question to all of us. And it's, what are we not ready to hear? And it's not just about, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not ready to hear the Rasa Leela and the affairs of the gopis and like that. There is something more. What is it that causes discomfort for us in our lives when we hear Bhagavatam? What is it that causes discomfort? For example, in the fifth canto cosmology, right? If the scripture departs radically from my logic and from what I perceive, I will have big doubts. If I'm a very rational person and somebody says, oh, just believe it because it's the word of God, then actually the doubts will increase. On the other hand, if I was a simple or very practical person and someone says like, oh, it could be this or it could be that, also the doubts will increase. So hearing the fifth canto cosmology is going to cause a lot of discomfort. What this is showing is that my faith in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the philosophy in general, is not so strong, right? That's what it would mean if I have this discomfort of hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam fifth canto. What is showing me really is that my faith is in the Srimad Bhagavatam is not, and the philosophy is not so strong. Now, another example is that when Srila Prabhupada condemns impersonalism, or when he condemns demigod worship, right? He does that constantly throughout all of his writing. Well, if we were doing that before, if we used to have if we used to have this impersonalist tendencies, or if I come from a family that does demigod worship for generations, right? Like in India, that may cause some discomfort. And it's like, well, my grandparents, they used to worship, the demigods, and all of this. So we have to sit with the discomfort and try to really understand deeply where it is coming from. Why am I feeling this discomfort? We actually have to be very truthful to ourselves, because this is what sincerity means. When in the purport that I quoted from the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Prabhupada says that we have to be submissive, sincere, and eager to hear, this is what part of the sincerity means. And is we have to be sincerity even with ourselves. Like, yes, this is what I'm feeling. Pain, that pain that we're feeling exposes a wound we have. So, for example, if I'm hearing about forgiveness and I don't want to forgive somebody, if there's somebody that is like, oh, I like that person did something so horrible to me that I can't really forgive that person. When I hear about forgiveness, it's going to cause that discomfort. That pain can show up as anger. When I hear that, I just have this anger, or as dismissal, like, oh well, yeah, no, that's not really what it means. I'll try to adjust it, or something like that, or something else. So what we have to do is we have to recognize it and call it out for what it is. See where it is coming from, and then address it. Actually do something about it. So some issues we will need help from senior Vaishnavas to understand them. For example, how do senior female Prabhupada disciples, how do they understand the statements about women, right? If I'm getting disturbed about, oh, Prabhupada is saying this about women. Well, how do those senior female Prabhupada disciples, how do they understand it? Or maybe I have to go to Senior Vaishnava because I'm conflicted about I'm hearing about this. Oh, you have to give 50% of your income to Krishna consciousness and survive only on 25% because the other 25% has to go uh, to savings. So how am I going to survive on 25%? And maybe I'm just making my ends meet. It's like I don't like that is causing discomfort. Let me go to them and let me address that issue because I'm seeing that is causing discomfort. Other issues, we will actually need help from licensed therapists if there is an emotional wound or trauma from the past. And I will speak about this in a moment. We have to be courageous because we have to do something called shadow work. Maybe you have started doing this already. Shadow work, where you're willing to face some of the things about yourself, when we have to face these things about ourselves that we don't like, things that we've been hiding from ourselves. We want to appear perfect, or okay, yeah, I'm not perfect, but in the back of my mind, I'm nearly perfect. I'm almost there. Just a week or two, and I'll get there, right? Especially when we're in a society that places high moral and spiritual standards upon us. But the fact is that we can't advance unless we're willing to admit to ourselves where we are at currently. So maybe, for example, we're people pleasers, right? And what happens if we're people pleasers? Then we might not hold our boundaries very well. And then that will translate into us getting burned up in all of our services because I'm just accepting and yes, Prabhuji, yeah, and just getting dumped and being overwhelmed and getting burnt out. And then we resent others. We end up resenting others, and we're gonna be hating anything that when we're hearing anything about surrender or anything about increasing our seva. It's like I don't want to hear that, or maybe I'm just going to like block it off or readjust it or just something. Or maybe we have a deep childhood wound of betrayal. Maybe our parents did something traumatic that betrayed us, and we carry that wound with us. And therefore, now when we hear about surrendering to the spiritual master, it's going to seem terrible. It's going to seem horrible. Like how am I? Why would I ever put my trust in a man who is not me? Like put it in somebody else? No, I have to put it in myself like that. So, or maybe we carry the shame of not following strictly the process of Krishna consciousness. I mean, there's something that's like, yeah, those 4 regulative principles, the 16 rounds. It's like, yeah, I can't do it very well. So maybe I will end up not believing that anyone we know, maybe in the past, maybe Prabhupada and all the previous acharyas, but definitely not right now. Anybody I know could sincerely do it. That's impossible. And therefore, we don't like to hear about the rules and regulations and about pure devotees, even if in our lifetimes, right? We don't want to hear that. We have to do our shadow work. And then when we recognize it, then we have to get help to heal. Because then we'll be able to hear properly. And our quality of life will improve. Of course, we have to continue hearing. It's not that, oh, I'm going to wait until I recognize everything that I have to do, right? And then heal, after years and years of therapy, and then I'm actually going to hear Bhagavatam. No, we hear throughout all this time. We'll be taking shelter of the Lord and the holy name throughout all of this time, asking the Lord, like, please, even like even if we don't recognize right now, like, ask, please, Lord, let me see where I'm at in a gentle way, please. let me see where I'm at in a gentle way, because the Lord has a sense of humor sometimes, right? So we don't want to be too pushy. We we ask that, and He will reveal to us. He will show us, yes, here's where you're at. Look at this. Look at this wound that you have here. This is where you don't want to hear this. And then we can do that work. Because Krishna consciousness is not something automatic. It's not like, oh, well, just chant Hare Krishna and then everything will be just fine. No, we chant Hare Krishna sincerely, asking the Lord, please help me out, help me see this and like that. And He will show it to us. And then we can do that work. We cannot just expect the Lord to do the work for us, right? We have to take ownership. We have to take accountability. We have to let our emotions flow in a safe space. We have to create a safe space for ourselves where we allow our emotions to flow and not repress them, not suppress them, saying like, "Oh no, I'm not feeling this. No, it's not. It's not. I'm not really fighting, these things." So then we can point out what is it that is holding us back in our devotional and material life. This is what is holding us in my devotional life. And then we'll actually be able to hear, we'll actually be qualified to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, like Maharaj Nimi is now doing in front of Navayogendras. What he couldn't in the past in front of the four Kumaras, because he was not ready for it then, but now he is ready. Now he has done the work, he has matured, he has understood. Now he has gained knowledge in the Shastras, knowledge in the world, and he is able now to take in this knowledge of the Bhagavatam fully. Now he will ask the same question. He kept that question. It's not like, oh, okay, well, they don't know, and nobody knows. No, like, he kept that question. That's an important question, and now he's ready to hear it. Now he is asking qualified speakers again, and he has become a qualified hearer. So now the message will come through. Now he'll be able to hear, and now he'll be able to truly understand about this very important topic, which is what is karma, what is akarma, and what is vikarma. That is what it's gonna flow into. And I'm gonna leave some time here for discussion. If anybody has any questions, any comments. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Murali Gopal Prabhu. Wonderful class. You are a dangerous person, Murali Gopal Prabhu. You know too much.
that sounds like the mafia.
yeah, this is mafia. Shadow work. I really like the concept of the shadow work, the inner work that there's no substitute to it, right? Like, we have one devotee on this call. His name is Bhima Das. He does shadow boxing during class, oftentimes. This is how his camera is off. Bhima Prabhu, is that the shadow work?
That's right, man. You're always fighting yourself. The real war, Kurukshetra, is within. Kingdom of Heaven's within, so is Kurukshetra.
Jai. I'm gonna Jai. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Murali. Thank you for class. Yeah, I'm just making me think of oftentimes when I speak some yoga philosophy to yoga students, physical yoga students. And I've learned over the years that I say certain things that, sort of Prabhupada said, and that I see the look in their eyes of like, what did you just say? And the first time the word purity came up, that's when I learned, oh, that's a trigger for some people because but it's always it's reminding me of in the Yoga Sutras actually when I speak at a yoga teacher training we have the concept of svadhyaya and that's self study and even in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras it's not just study the sacred text it's the self study because the fallashruti for svadhyaya in the Yoga Sutras is one finds their Ishtadevata, the form of the divine that they most relate to. And so it's really interesting. It's only through doing that deep work that doesn't just include shastra, but work on yourselves. That it's interesting that even in the Yoga Sutras, it says that the next step would be then to connect to the form of divinity that you relate to. So it was just reminding me of all that and reminding me of how many things I wasn't ready to hear and how many things are my triggers when I hear them. I hear them now, but I remember I was like, there. So thank you for this wonderful, wonderful reminder. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Svadhyaya is very important. This we hear it from Sanatana Goswami. He asked Keami to Lord Chaitanya, who am I? Right? So that part of who am I, it becomes a very relevant question for us. It's not like, yes, I'm a spirit soul, like that. Yeah. How much realization do you have of your spirit soul? Now, we have some realization of our mental body, and we have more realization of our physical body. So we have to understand all of these parts together because we're living in the world. We're living with this physical body and with this mental body. So how is this mental and physical body helping us, or holding us back in our devotional life? Right? Our mind can be our best friend or our worst enemy. So how is this worst enemy? Because definitely we're not in the best friend category yet. We're not besties yet. How are we? How is it functioning for me? How is it working out for me? Where is it trying to stab my back when I try to do devotional work? Is it maybe, and as I mentioned, is it maybe when I do seva and I do the people pleasing and I just take in more and more, and then it's like, I hate the management, I hate the devotees and like that. But yeah, well, also, are you putting boundaries for yourself? Sometimes that could be like a first step that you have to address, and then you can address. Okay, well, maybe the management can do better in this and that, but the first thing is on yourself, right? Bhima, yes, you have a question or comment?
Before Bhima Prabhu says anything, I was thinking, if we put Bhima Prabhu versus Murali Gopal Prabhu, who will win? Bhima with boxing or Murali Gopal? What's your black belt?
I don't want to talk about my next fight. I'm fighting the shadow here. I'm about to knock him out, man. I'm about to knock him out.
Okay.
Yeah, please, Bhima Prabhu.
Well, I was just going to say that sometimes it's an easy remembrance. Excuse me, I'm a little bit out of breath. An easy remembrance that you simply shine a light. Like here I am, I got a shadow behind me. I got a light behind me, and it goes up against a brick wall, and I can see everything that I'm doing. But if you position the light, if you bring the light in from above, which would be, devotional service, Shastra, the association of devotees, when that light shines down from above, the shadow's gone, the shadow's at your feet. So that's why it's imperative to pay attention to the fact that you got a shadow that's following you. And because it's mental, right? It's mental. It's as solid as a thought, all these problems we have. But if we just shine shine the light of the Bhagavatam, right? Isn't there light of the Bhagavatam? Wasn't that a book? If you just shine that light down, then these shadows simply run. They simply run and hide. It's all part of the story. That chapter is over. Thank you very much for a wonderful class, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Yeah, that's very important. We have to position ourselves properly, so that the light is always there. The light is always there, but where are we positioning ourselves, right? Are we allowing the light to shine fully on us? So this is part of that shadow work that we're talking about. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, I'm seeing that the shadow is over there. So okay, let me situate myself here. Let me move myself here. Let me change these things so that the light can shine on me, and that shadow can go away. So that is the shadow work. Learning first where the shadow is, because and placing myself in the right position to get all of the mercy. Yes, Leela.
Jai Murali Gopal, Hare Krishna.
Hey.
Nice to see you. This was wonderful. Thank you. So clear and straightforward and practical and really profound in I guess in application, but also in like seeing, okay, if I feel like this, what's going on? So taking a different approach to the discomfort that comes up in whatever the situation is, but in particularly you're talking about reading Shastra and maybe our devotional service and using that as a like things that are pointing towards something that can help us grow. I really appreciated that. And I was thinking just a comment on because you mentioned courage, the courage to really look at ourselves and look at those dark places. And in regards to the reading of things, or even in interpersonal relationships, because the Shastra is alive, we're having a relationship with it, to have the courage to read something, feel the discomfort, and then instead of coming to a conclusion or assuming that we know what it means, to say, I don't understand this. I don't understand what you're saying. Prabhupada, because you mentioned like, how does it feel sometimes when we read certain things, and just to say, I don't understand what this means. It's making me uncomfortable. And then, like you said, go and ask someone that knows. And then perhaps also going deeper into that conversation. Um, and it helps also in conflict. This is coming up, and then, someone says something or does something, and to first have the courage to, before assigning meaning to it, to say, I don't understand. Maybe can you clarify that? That seems very helpful, but it's scary because, we have a tendency to just want to immediately defend, and if we don't defend, then we're vulnerable. And so that's where the courage comes in, the courage to know that it's okay to not immediately defend without due cause. And then the last point that you made, I really appreciated about the light, because one of the things that what I've experienced is having the courage to look at the dark parts of myself, but then getting stuck in that, and then thinking I'm so much, so much the other side of the ego, where the ego tells you you're the center of the universe, you're the greatest thing that's ever happened to devotees, and then being the opposite, like I am the worst thing ever, everything's all my fault, I ruin everything. Just this, it's still a misunderstanding of who I really am. I'm still getting it wrong. And so what you were saying about just letting the lighting, replacing it with the proper understanding, I think is that perfect balance of coming to know who we are because a pure devotee, we see Prabhupada completely surrendered, humble, and gentle, but he also was regal and confident. And, he carried himself in that way. He knew who he was. And there's so many examples in the Shastra of that. So, yeah, thank you for the reminder. Really appreciate seeing you and hearing from you.
Thank you for so wonderfully recapping the main points of the class today. Better than any ChatGPT.
Leela, you're better than ChatGPT. Nice. What a compliment. Well, sometimes it's ChatGPT. You put your letter through ChatGPT and it comes out so, unnatural, so, formal and weird. So yeah, Leela, we appreciate your sincerity on this class. A practical question: if, for example, theoretically, hypothetically, if your child is, for example, going through something in school, middle school, high school, they're a bullet, for example. How do you teach them humility and in the spirit of devotion? Do you tell them the story of Haridas Thakur beaten on 22 marketplaces, or you tell them just, fight back, burn down the freaking school, stop that at the door? How do you teach bhakti in extreme situations that sometimes life throws at us?
Well, one thing that we know for sure is that it talks to us about humility. And what does humility mean? Humility sometimes takes the form of Haridas Thakur, but sometimes it takes the form of Arjuna or Bhima. Humility means being true to ourselves. Humility has to deal with being that truthful to ourselves, not any more and not any less. That is what humility is. If you're, as Leela was just speaking right now, one side of the ego is I am the greatest, like that, and the other side is, oh, I am the worst and all that. So being exactly who I am, being truthful to myself, being that's when we are humble. So maybe it might be a question of, okay, do I need to teach my child about boundaries, how to set boundaries for him or herself, right? Boundaries are not so much of what I will, how to control others, but how to control what others do to me. That is what boundaries are. That is what setting boundaries are. That is what assertiveness is. That assertiveness is how can I put boundaries so that I can control to a certain extent how people treat me. That might look like, okay, maybe I have to walk up to the person and place those boundaries. Maybe that doesn't work because this person, is just irrational like that. Okay, let me go to a higher up, right? To the principal, to a teacher, something like that. That doesn't help, then let me bring in the parents and all of this thing, right? Escalated to different like that. The important thing is that I'm putting those boundaries because I'm not allowing people to treat me in a way that I don't want it to. In some cases, I might not be able to control it completely. I may be completely helpless and like that. in those situations, at least I was honest enough to say my truth. I can't. Sometimes we don't have control over like that, and I might need to remove myself. And if I can't remove myself, then I have to tolerate it. But at least I was true to myself, and that is important. I have done everything possible to put those boundaries. And if even like that, I'm feeling like that. Okay, so now I understand. For example, with Haridas Thakur, right? He told his truth. Like this, I am going to say, I'm going to chant the holy names, whether you like it or not. He didn't shy away from that. That was his truth. You're the king. You do what you need to do. I can't control what other people feel or do anything like that. That I can't control, but I can control myself. So if you do this, I will do that. If you continue doing this, I will do that. That has to do with that assertiveness. Not so much of the controlling others, but I can control what myself. And so Haridas Thakur, when he was being humble and like that, and he said, "Okay, I can't control what the king is going to do to me, right? But this is my truth, and this is what I'm going to do." Uh, when you have the Pandavas, they were being mistreated, they were being like that, and so they had to fight. This is listen. We don't want any war like that. Let's do all of this, but in the end, if you do this, if you don't give us the 5 villages, we are going to fight. This is how they give their truth. They set the boundaries. Like we're not just going to let them continue like that. No, give us at least 5 villages. If not, then we're going to take this action. And they did. They were truthful. This is where humility is.
Thank you, Murali Gopal Prabhu. I'm so glad Krishna gave Srila Prabhupada one village, East Village, and we're all residing here under the protection of the Pandavas and learning humility. That takes different forms. Great, thank you. Great answer. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes. And then Prabhupada did what Vamanadev did.
Yeah. One village and took over the world. That's right.
Yes.
Cool. Sweet. Okay, dear devotees, if any one of you would like to show their home darshan, home deities, please, now is the time. Unblur your, or maybe Venu Madhuri can teleport herself into the temple room like she does sometimes. That's a mystic power that came as a byproduct of Venu Madhuri's devotion. Okay, Isaiah,
I can get over there. It's might be a little late.
Okay, no, we already have an Isaiah
Okay.
giving us darshan. Thank you. Thank you for not shaking the camera. Sundari Radha, thank you. Jai Jagannath. They look so happy. Bhakti Sundari's here. Oh, sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Shri Radha Mulida Gaura Chandra Sima Bhagavan Ki Srila Prabhupada Ji. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. And his prayers from the blessed portion of to his uncle to obtain the mercy of Krishna. I only wish to have my conscience purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with antidote knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him excited agreement emanates, and by him increases joy. The Vedic scriptures sing of his birth. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor, the Lord of master of his ways. O Master, please be merciful on us. Please receive your Lord's feet. We famous for all your words. Please take shelter at your Lord's feet. To the Prabhupada Ki.
Temple Room Ki Jai. Annabelle and Isaiah Home Darshan Ki Jai. Thank you, dear devotees. Okay. Would anyone like to ask a question? We're in the afterglow. Jamuna Jaya.
Um, not a question, but just something that the back half of the discussion was spurring about this inquiry and such. I'm thinking that it also all for the questioner, it comes down to faith. And Raghunath Kapo always says, taking that mind of could be, when we listen to be things. Could be, don't know, but could be. And it's what, Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita, like how to approach in a submissive frame of mind, and to be okay with the questions. The poet Rilke says we must love the questions themselves, right? And I find that for myself, I'm okay with the uncertainty because I have faith that there are those that do know, and I have faith in the process. So even if there's something at this point I don't understand, I have faith in the people that are speaking. I have faith in the Shastra. So I'm willing to understand that my not understanding is me and not the teachings. You know what I mean? And too often, I think human beings, we think we're so smart, we got to get it all. And if we don't get it all with our tiny little brains, we think there's something wrong with the process or the teachings when it's not it at all. We are just like this thing says, we're too young. We're not mature enough. So yeah, those two things I think really comes down to a faith in the teachings. And like you're saying, humility to understand, I simply do not know it all. We're told that we're flawed, and we are. And again, to your point about being honest, I know I'm flawed. I know my intelligence can't get it all. So those are just some things that as Lee was talking and you were further unpacking this, that just really came to mind. Yeah. So anyway, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Yamunajai. Yeah, very that's a very good observation, and it's that especially when we sit in the discomfort, right? How can we sit in that discomfort? And it's when you develop faith that it's going to be okay. If I have that faith in the process, if I have that faith in Krishna and in the Acharyas, then it's like, okay, yeah, like it's okay to be feeling like this. It's okay that I don't that I feel a little bit like move like that. It's okay because I have faith of where I'm going. I have faith that this will take me to a good place. So even if I'm things are rocking and it's like, no, I don't want to feel this and like that. No, it's okay. It's good. Because it's going to take me where I need to be. And that is where we are really taking shelter of the holy name when we're chanting. That's when we can go to the holy name and say like, my dear Lord, please help me out here. Like either in the question of help me see that the shadow, or let me ride it. Help me ride it. Help me position myself in a way that I can work on it. Please help me with this. And I know that Krishna will be able to do that, right? We're not in the cat or the monkey category, right? The cat category is okay. Well, Krishna will do all the work for me, right? And I don't have to do anything. And we're not in the monkey category where it's like, oh, everything depends on me. So if I don't grab on to the mother monkey, then I'm gonna fall as she's leaping from one place to another.
So what animal? What animal? I need an animal. Murali Gopal.
The acharyas explain it as the two fingers. They don't even give an animal. They forget about the animals. Here's two fingers, right?
All
the mercy
right.
of the Lord and the work ourselves. But there are so many animals in the 8,400,000 species that I bet that there is a combination of the two somewhere there.
Need a two-fingered animal, I guess. Maybe a crab.
Two-toed sloth.
Sloth.
Two-toed sloth.
A sloth. Yep.
Not the prettiest, but yeah, why not?
Yeah, the sloth is taking its time.
I hear they're cute as hell.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, definitely. Krishna loves them all anyway.
Yeah. Sage Sky, what's this makeup? What's that? Gopi dots?
No, they are officially Paw Patrol today.
Oh, Paw Patrol, that's right. That's
Yes.
right. Jamuna Jai and her devotee sloth. Hare Krishna. Nice. That's a great discovery we made collectively. We found the animal for our Sampradaya. You know, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he designed the logo for Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So we can safely add a sloth to it. And there's Mridanga, Shastra, very elaborate logo. And the print and press. Print and press is on the logo. And the sloth. Now.
Don't forget us donkeys.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Okay, Sage, Sky, Cinderella, Paw Patrol, Annabelle, Isaiah, Karen, please unmute yourself and recite the Maha Mantra as loud as you can. That's how humility sounds like. And it's loud.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Thank you very much, Annabelle, Isaiah, Sage, Sky, Paw Patrol.
Puppy.
Oh, very cool costumes. Dr. Murali Gopal Prabhu, thank you very much. We hope one day you'll spar with Bhima Prabhu for the pleasure of Krishna and his devotees. Or at least
Spar with this guy. Here, you see that whole, look at that. He's a lion.
looks like a sloth.
You look like a sloth.
Jai, on this high note, thank you very much for your association. Have a wonderful Saturday. Give it to Krishna and come again tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Paw Patrol Ki Jai.